Thank you so much for attending my presentation about the most volatile Pokemon ever created, and first let's talk about its traits. Like most regional forms, Galarian Slowbro is pretty similar to the base. Stat-wise, it does have a few changes, which are actually pretty bad. It loses a decent bit of bulk especially, has its defense drop by 15 points, and the buffs aren't that relevant. An increase of 25 to attack is cool, but isn't nearly as strong as general bulk. But it's pretty obviously going to be decent anyways, mostly because of one thing, Regenerator. This is amazing as I've talked about a bunch on this channel, healing you by 33% when you switch out. Glowbro is also able to use some legitimately strong attacks. Shell Sidearm is very powerful as a 90 base power option. Its gimmick is that it hits on whatever side will take more damage. Against Blissey, physical move. Avalugg, special move. Otherwise, it does Feature Sight, Psychic, Flamethrower, Scald, Earthquake, and even more to boot. While not as strong as Cantoni and Slowbro, the Galarian version is still pretty decent. It's unfortunately outclassed in the higher tiers by many bulkier pivots, but when those options are exhausted, it can shine. The good relevant sets are blatantly defensive in nature. Assault Vest is obviously synergistic. Dealing damage that sticks is really difficult. It's naturally great physically, AV helps specially, and Regenerator keeps it alive. When able to get on the field, those aforementioned attacking options come in clutch. Similar to its cousin Galarian Slowking up in OU, it's not fun to handle. With tons of coverage, it's tough to find safe switch-ins that actually threaten it for reasonable damage. Non-AV sets are still great though. Slack Off all of a sudden becomes a great choice, having reliable recovery. Heavy Duty Boots is solid, giving it more longevity as a Regenerator pivot. A Resist Berry like Colbur helps against pesky knockoffs. Rocky Helmet is a decent option on physically defensive sets. It's not impenetrable, but there's almost no high attack Pokemon that want to handle this guy. Finally, Calm Mind lets it become a nice wall breaker when provided with enough time. It's a bit tough to make happen and isn't sweeping teams, but can put in some serious work. Okay, that sounds cool. Now check it out the goddamn window because we're going to learn about the most insane gimmick ever. Galarian Slowbro actually has a signature ability that I didn't mention, Quick Draw. This is really stupid, giving all of its moves a 30% chance to move first in their priority bracket. It can also be buffed to 44% by adding a Quick Claw into the equation. All of a sudden, with the right moveset and a little luck, Glowbro can be a fast setup sweeper. One option that doesn't normally work for it is now available, Nasty Plot. After all, the goal is to get going fast and kill some shit. A +2 boost with no other effects is definitely the best idea. The game plan is pretty obvious. Get in safely, use your good natural bulk to take an attack, and set up at least one Nasty Plot. After that, things get a bit more difficult. Even with solid numbers, Slowbro ain't taking attacks well. You're gonna need to hit that 44% a few times if you want to deal some real damage, which is the difference between a sweep and doing literally nothing. It's risky as hell, but can be unstoppable if the stars align. So how has it performed? Well, on the whole, the more consistent Regenerator sets tend to be more used. It turns out that being all around good is the better call. While left hopeless in OU and sometimes even UU, it can work wonders below. Glowbro's best showing was in Gen 8, where it was able to get banned from RU and still retain a place in the tier above. Gen 9 was a bit worse, sadly, landing in PU. Coverage continues to be super important. Scizor is great against Psychic and Poison, but Flamethrower melts it. Oh, Mudsdale is cool. Fuck you, get surfed. But the fun part is Quick Draw, Quick Claw. To be frank, it's really dogshit. It's a fun gimmick that you can use to cheat some low ladder players, but how could it work against competent opponents? Well, in June 2023, this set had its only noticeable place that I could find. A player named Delibird Hart made an actually nuts mono Quick Claw team. This abused offensive mons Ursaluna, Iron Hands, Enamorous Therian, and of course Glowbro, who were held back by speed. While super luck dependent, it got on people's radars. In fact, the buzz was high enough to where some people wanted the item outright banned. In the end though, it wasn't. Quick Claw isn't good enough or uncompetitive enough to warrant that, but the fact that this thing could possibly contribute to a fucking ban is hilarious. Go check out the teams linked in the description. It's one of the best, funniest things I've ever read. In conclusion, Galarian Slowbro is super volatile. While it's most often seen running standard balance sets, it can get a bit wild. Even though those are way more niche, you can't deny just how funny Quick Draw is. Thank you so much for watching.